Welcome back into your Picture on Extra Report. I'm CJ Mack, and I'm sitting down with the one and only Kevin McPherson with the Hog Who's Report. Kevin, that overseas trip coming up very, very soon, man. They can get some full practices in, along with working one-on-one drills and all those things. But finally, the season is coming faster and faster than ever. Football season is on the way, but basketball season is right after that. And I promise, the season just felt like it was done, but it's coming up quicker than ever.
It's funny because it is everybody wants to think football right now, but basketball is 365 days a year. And for the Razorbacks, having those 4 exhibition games, there's 4 of them starting, 3 in Spain. They'll wrap up in Italy. But that starts early August. So you're 2 weeks out from that. And you're right. The NCAA allows 10 full practices. So Arkansas has been in that limited practice mode, 4 hours a week. Eric Musselman, the pace of his practices, he gets a lot done when you chop it up. Let's say 4 hours. 4 1-hour practices per week. But now he's going to get a lot more time to take that new roster. So much talent. We've spent so much time talking about all the 5 stars and the the transfer portal transfers and 11 newcomers out of 13. But Merrick Musselman's got more time now to work and mold with these guys, not only in these 10 extra practices, but then he gets to go against other competition, other teams. And this is what Eric Musselman cherishes, is those opportunities. He's been on the record, CJ, in the past talking about how he wishes in the regular normal exhibition part right before the regular season in October, early November, that his team would get more than two opportunities, which is the rule for NCAA. And now he's got these 4 extra games, and he gets them months in advance so he can see, take a more elevated look at what he's actually got, because these guys have been going up against each other. It's a little bit different when you've got all 13 on the same bench now playing against different competition. And now you've got to figure it out of 13. How do you get those rotations? How do you get those packages, those personnel combinations together? What works? What are the things he'll be tinkering. I'm sure everybody's going to get playing time in this event.
Right.
I think Musselman's probably got a vision for his top 7 or 8 rotation. There's so much talent there. I keep talking about, does he expand it just a little bit? We'll see. In the past, he hasn't done that in 7 years as a college head coach, 4 at Nevada, 3 at Arkansas. But the way he does things has worked, and we know the success level. But going back to extra practice in this trip, it's going to be very interesting to see how much us as medium fans get a glimpse of that. As far as I know, there's obviously no TV and radio. Is there going to be any level of live stream? Right. Maybe the men's basketball program, they do such a good job of promoting from practices with videos and clips of certain segments. Maybe we'll get a taste of that. But CJ, I think this is a big deal because we've talked so much about the added length, athleticism, size. This is his biggest roster as a college coach. But I think the other part of it is when I watch what's come out of practice, talking about so much above the rim playmaking, both defensively and offensively. One of the other things I've seen is the high floor IQ and how it seems like so many players are really good passers. This may be his best passing team. We know last year it was all about defense, really the year before built off of defense as well. Right. I think defense will also be where this team hangs its hat. Offensively, I don't know that Arkansas gets better as a 3-point shooting team. I do think, though, CJ, that we talk about being able to finish above the rim. It might be easier for this team to score, get back to that free throw line where it's been among really an elite free throw shooting team when you're talking about an amount of attempts and makes and some of the efficiency there. So this team, I think, aligns there. But I think the ball movement and passing is going to be at another level. Guys like Anthony Black, who I think may put up some big assist numbers. Nick Smith Jr., who can score and facilitate. Some of the big men and some of their versatility I've noticed have been passing the ball well, including Kamani Johnson. We don't want to sleep on Kamani, who's an under-the-rim player at 6'7", but can go in and get offensive rebounds. His per-minute rebounding numbers are off the charts, including on the offensive glass. And then he just finds ways to make plays sometimes as a passer, off of those offensive rebounds. So keep an eye on this team collectively IQ-wise, because we've been talking about the physical part. Sometimes the IQ stuff are both tangible and intangible. But when you see it come together with all that talent, CJ, I think the biggest question mark is about the 11 newcomers. And I think all this extra full practice time and those 4 exhibition games helps smooth things out as you've got 4 months to go after that, 3 to 4 months till you get to the regular season, plenty of time to iron out kinks.
in those 4 exhibition games. It'll be the first time everybody gets to see those guys not only go 5-on-5, but 5 on another team. They've been going 5-on-5 all summer practices, but now they'll go full force in practices. They had a couple practices that were kind of full force, but they'll be full force coming on this trip, and I'm looking forward to it. Like you said, a lot of guys on this new team. Mac Dunn's All-Americans coming in. You got the big wings coming in, so I think they're going to run the floor a lot. And like you said, get back to the free throw line. Let's move over to the recruiting report. Kevin, I seen you tweet a lot of things over here on Twitter the last couple of days. A lot of, Muss is always on a road trip. He's been to baseball games. He's into the summer league. He's been to AAU circuits. And I seen a couple people that he went and saw. Tell me a couple people that he went and saw this summer.
Yeah, well, Arkansas, speaking of practice, had an early morning practice on Wednesday, the first day of the second July live period. Had a morning practice. Muss hopped on a plane and got out to Seal Beach, California, which is right between Huntington Beach and LA. But that was the Adidas 3SSB Open Championship. So he had multiple hog targets. Let's start with 2023 5-star national number 12, according to 247 Sports, Bayfall. His spring and summer basketball, CJ, has just been off the charts. He was the top 30 All-Star Game MVP out at Pangos in early June. He was one of 10 All-Stars following that prestigious NBPA Top 100 camp, where he was the only player to average a double-double in the championship bracket tournament. And then he's been really good on the Adidas 3SSB circuit. And Musman got to see him up front and personal, along with assistant Gus Arginal out there for a couple of days, Wednesday and Thursday, for that event. Bayfall and his teammate, Asani Diop, another 6'10 guy, more of a face-up forward at 6'10. Both guys are long, athletic at 6'10, very quick. Fall, more of the interior type player. Diop, a little more versatile and some face-up stuff. Right. But Diop's a top 50 guy, according to ESPN, a high-level 4-star. So Musman got eyes on those guys, along with Gus Arginal, as I mentioned. And then you've got the Arkansas kids, Keonor Boateng, class of 2024, 6'5 wing, very athletic at a Little Rock Central, a guy that's just a physical specimen. When you look at the athleticism, the quickness, the leaping ability, and then the end-to-end speed. I mean, he is a specimen, but he's really started to emerge with his ball handling and face-up skill, mid-range, three-point line. Right. Early July averaged 25 points in the Adidas event in South Carolina, where it was their summer championship, so going up against the best. And then this past week, averaging just under 18 points and 5 rebounds, 2 steals, putting up some solid games with Musman and Arginal on hand. And then class of 2025, the first player that Arkansas offered out of that class out of Marion, Terrion Burgess, a 6'8", pushing 6'9 wing, long, loves to slash and get to the basket, can handle and pass, block shots. He's a big rebounder. So a guy that's got versatility. Musman loves those big wings, and a guy that I think eventually could evolve as he gets stronger into one of those 3-4 combo types, as he might push 6'10 when it's all said and done. But here's a guy that had some more strong performances in the last week. And again, Musman, Arginal on hand to see that. Very recently, Arkansas offered Dink Pate, a 6'7 combo guard out of Dallas Pinkston, a guy that I wrote about last week, the day that I put an article out about Arkansas's Texas recruiting being so strong. He got an offer later that day. And in that article, I had featured him primarily, and had some quotes about his really, really having high interest level in Arkansas. But I've been keeping up with him. Musman made sure to make him a priority out there at the Adidas event. And then Musman staff, when you talk about the Keith Smart and Anthony Ruda, spent a lot of time at Nike Peach Jam this past week. Layden Blocker, who's already committed to the Hogs, continues to be. And I think when you look at all of Arkansas's recruits in the spring and summer, right now I'm going to have to say he's my MVP because of how, you look at it numerically, averaging consistently at all these different events. 15 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists from that point guard position at 6'2". But this guy's tough as nails at both ends of the floor, CJ. He's a winner. He's a clutch playmaker. If you need a defensive stop, you need a bucket, he's going to slash and get to the free throw line. So he carried his team from a play-in game a week ago at Peach Jam on the championship bracket, got them in with a play-in win last Sunday, and then 7 games later, they bow out in the quarterfinals. So what a march through that event. Layden Blocker seemed to will his team time and time again in close games to that winner's circle. You talk about explosiveness from A to B and quickness and confidence. And at 6'2", playing through contact to finish above the rim, but he does so many other things, facilitate. He's a strong rebounder for a guard. He's more than a pest defensively. He's like a ball hawk. He's got that dogged determination. And again, he's clutch. So I think there's so many things that go into it when you look at his performances at that NBPA Top 100 camp. When you look at what he's done throughout these Nike sessions leading up to Peach Jam, Layden Blocker's been outstanding, and Arkansas always has a coaching presence at his games. But you talk about the Peach Jam event. There are several players from 2023 that Arkansas is still looking at and maybe trying to close on. Zayden High, 6'9" big man out of Texas. Wesley Yates, the third, a 6'4" guard out of Texas. RJ Jones, a 6'3" guard from the state of Texas. There's a theme there. I've talked about Arkansas's Texas recruiting, and you look at that 23 class, we know Ron Holland's a guy still at the top of their leaderboard. Now, he did not participate this week, just fresh off that gold medal run with the 17U FIBA World Cup for Team USA. He did some rest and reconditioning and did not go to Peach Jam with his Nike sponsor team, but he's a guy that's still on Arkansas's priority list. But you talk about Musselman and his staff canvassing, crisscrossing the country. Musselman started, as I mentioned, at Seal Beach in California, ended up in Atlanta to watch Asa Newell, a 6'9", very versatile guy in Atlanta, and then took in games at Peach Jam. So he hit 3 events. You had Gus Argenal out there on the West Coast, Smart, and Anthony Ruda at Peach Jam back east. And so I think Arkansas did a great job, as always, with its staff, really concentrating on all these players. I left some names out, but Arkansas does a phenomenal job of making sure they're front and center for their priority recruits.
Hey, Texas still holding strong in this recruiting battle, man. And Layden Blocker, I hear you rave about him each and every week, but you're not the only one. I see reports all over social media, all over everywhere. And this guy, he is a bucket. I've seen some highlights from him. My goodness, he can go offense, defense, like you said, 15-5. He's ready to go. And I want to see him play live in person as well. So I'm looking forward to see him play in person. But let's talk about some guys that played for the Razorbacks already. Moses Moody, who came back to town to Little Rock, brought the Larry O'Brien Trophy with him, showed him off. A lot of people got to hug it, take some picture with it, got to take a picture with Moses Moody, talk about that atmosphere in Little Rock, and talk about Bobby Portis bringing his own thing back to Little Rock as well. And he's going to have a lot of people, former and current NBA players, in his showcase coming up. Talk about both of those events in Little Rock coming up.
Yeah, well, you talk about perfect spokesman for Razorback basketball, and there's others. Perfect. And we've been, watching the NBA season unfold. Moses Moody wins a title, leading scorer just a little over a week ago in the Las Vegas Summer League, and then no rest, for the weary. He comes home, and this was no ordinary homecoming. Yeah. Back in Little Rock, he gets presented a key to the city by the Little Rock mayor on Moses Moody Day. That was declared for Friday when all these events took place, CJ. But Moses Moody did more than just receive a key to the city. He gave a lot. He's been involved with AR Kids Read, which is, basically an academic program, but they have a hoop celebration every year. He's been involved in this since 2019 when he was still a high school student athlete. And so this is, one of those platforms for him that it's near and dear to his heart, as well as his parents, his brother, his entire family. But Moses Moody, so he gets the key to the city, it's proclaimed Moses Moody Day, but this was at the end of a 4-hour session where he's participating with these young people, giving them instruction, helping them with some basketball stuff, also speaking to them about the importance of continuing to read. These weren't just Little Rock youth that got to come out. They were invited because they earned their way by meeting their reading goals. And so it was a reward for them as well. So Moses Moody used this occasion. It was good timing for him to be recognized, but it wasn't all about him. And that's what I love about Moses Moody. When this young man, when you look at what Moses Moody is, who he is, it's more than basketball. It's a lot more than basketball. Here's a guy that's already well respected as a rookie by his head coach, Steve Kerr, by the veteran players that have basically built a dynasty with Warriors. If you hear him talk about Moses Moody, there's a lot of affection and respect on how he handles things like as an old soul, right? He just turned 20. And, he was part of a record season. Steph Curry breaking the all-time three-point made record.
Crazy.
Klay Thompson coming back after 2+ years being out. And then Moody throws a 30-point game during the regular season, has the most minutes behind Kobe Bryant for a teenager in a conference finals, and had a rotational role in those conference finals and played a little bit in the championship series, gets a ring. But so many other things about Moses Moody. So it was a perfect day for him. I got to spend time with Moody in that beautiful event, and there was more than one event throughout the day. He also had an event out at Park, which is, also an outreach program in Southwest Little Rock, where he played a lot of his youth basketball. I know his dad used to work in that organization. But Moses Moody, it's not about what he gets, it's about what he gives when I really look at him as a person, CJ. And you talk about Bobby Portis. Here's another ambassador, a guy that is beloved in Arkansas, in Milwaukee. That reminds you of Sidney Moncrief, the icon, the Naismith Hall of Famer, lighting up both of those cities everywhere he went. People have been embracing him and loving him. That's Bobby Portis. And Portis always gives back. His foundation is a big deal. It gets national attention every year because his outreach is to moms, single moms that raise kids and families. He always does things to promote and help those with, monetary resources. But then, his mom was a big part of his life. He talks about that and where he is now, and really tips his hat to her in some of the things he does off the court with his foundation. But then he comes back to Little Rock. He has camps for youth. He has an all-star game. He has a lot of events, and that's next weekend. You're going to be down for that. I'll be there. We'll be in tandem to take part in that. It's always great to see Bobby, because when he's in his camp setting and the kids just light up, when he's around the adults and some of the other stuff and the all-star game, the fans are loving it because he puts on a show. His energy's always big. His heart's big. His smile's big. So you couldn't talk about two greater players. So if you wanted a break from basketball season, you just don't get it. I say it's 365 days a year, but why would you want one when you've got these kind of special people, former Hogs, but in-state guys that are quality on top of just what they bring to a basketball court? So Moses Moody, it's a treat to get to hang out with Moses Moody, and a week later, Bobby Portis, as we, kind of shift from July and start getting into August soon.
Yeah, it's a blessing to have both of those guys come on back home. 2 NBA champions that I might add. Moses Moody winning that championship, and Bobby Portis winning his championship a couple of years ago. Kevin, it's been real each and every week, man. I appreciate you stopping by again for another week of that Hog Hoops Report.
Thanks, CJ. Good to be with you.
And don't you guys go anywhere. We got more picture coming up after the break.